女やったら
やめろ
Hello everyone, my name is Julia from Riley TCG. Today I'm making my first deck profile video. So I'm bringing some Purple Croc. Of course I have to have the matching deck box, you guys know it. If you guys are looking for some deck box, play mats, sleeves, we also have some sleeves which are really pretty. You guys can find us on rileytcg.com and for all your TCG needs. So let's cover the leader first. Beautiful alt art. It's a purple yellow leader for life. His effect is really interesting. On opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck by your effect, add up to one Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So all the -1 Dawn's effects that you're doing on your opponent's turn, you get one back active. So you guys are going to see it's pretty good combined with some of the combos we have here. So I started playing this deck with the Baroque Works build and I didn't really like it. I felt like it was lacking something. I felt like it needed something more. The first thing I realized is that this deck wants to play a lot of big bodies and fast. So for that you do need to ramp. So my first addition to the deck was 3 Jacks. Jack's the OPO1 card. 3 into 4, 1k counter. On play, you may trash one card from your hand, add up to one Dawn card from your Dawn deck, set it as active. I like it a lot. It made my ramps way more consistent. I know trashing a card sometimes doesn't feel the best, but with the progression of the deck, you guys are going to see that my idea is pretty good with it. And so my idea is to play him turn 2, ramp to 4 or to 5 Dawn, depending on if I'm going first or second. And the following turn, I'm following with the Missile Sunday. Missile Sunday is a 5 into 5. Add on play, add up to one Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. If you have 6 or more Dawn cards on your field, draw one card. So the one card that you trashed with Jack, you are getting back here with All Sunday. So I do feel like they're very complementary. It is also a way of, like, in a way, cycling your hand because you might get a little stuck with some big bodies. What do you do when you don't see those? What is holding your game in case you don't find all your ramps or you just find one? We have our mid-range blockers here. First one being Uta, in my opinion, the best for the deck. Uta is a 4 into 5. She comes in the starter deck, the film starter deck, I believe. She's a blocker, which is always nice. 1k counter. On block, Dawn -1. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. It's really good because you can combo it with the leader ability to do that -1. You get that Dawn back active, and if you have an event in your hand, you might even use it. You guys are going to see that we have a lot of events. And it's really good against Law, rests like pretty much everything on Law's board. Against Rebecca, rests Orlambas. It's a fantastic card. Overall, your opponent usually has to do immediate removal, so you get 0 value out of it. And 2 blocker Sanjis. He's just a blocker that has trigger that you may trash one card from your hand and play this card. Usually it comes from life. It's a very good trigger. It can be just a 1k counter too, especially if you succeed with your ramp. You're not going to have a lot of time to play blockers because you're going to be establishing those big bodies constantly. So first I'm running 4 Sasaki. The 2k counters is what I believe to be the most flexible spots on the list. Okay, but usually you never play them down. They are essentially 2k counters, so you can just run whatever you like. Beige is the only one that I would recommend regardless because best 2k counter for yellow there is. Still talking about counter, we're going to go to our events. We only run 1 cost events because of our leader ability that allows us to do that very well. The first one's for Blast Breath. Fantastic card. You pay 1 for a plus 4,000 and you Dawn -1 and bring it back up with leader ability. So it's pretty much a Frankie Beam because you're getting that Dawn back up and you can use it again. So it's a disgusting combo. If you have 2 in hand, 1 Dawn usually gonna do for both, which is really nice. The other 1 cost events are recent additions to the deck that I did to improve the overall matchup spread. This is Color Trap. Color Trap is really good into Rebecca, really good into Law. just resting, like it gives your leader just plus 1000, which is fine. My opinion should have been 2000, but okay. But resting a 4, you can rest a blocker, you can rest an Orlumbus, you can rest a Rush Zoro. So much you can rest with that, and it's also protecting you. So I really like this card. Very similar to that card is this one. This is the newest addition to the deck for me. Weakness is an unforgivable sin. This card is pretty much for the Zoro and for the Whitebeard matchups, as the Whitebeard matchup can get a little rough. But when you put your leader to be a 6k for the turn 2, they kind of lose that edge, that advantage that Whitebeard naturally has, at least for that turn. It's really nice. And both of those have the add 1 down from your deck as active as a trigger. So if you don't see your ramps, but your first lives are this guys, you're still really good because you're still ramping quite fast. And our last 1-cost event is Narikabura Arrow. It's the 1-cost event in the yellow Yamato Star deck. If you have 2 or less life cards, give up to one of your opponent's characters or leaders minus 3000 power during this turn. I like it a lot. It's really good against characters that restand, like the 7-drop Luffy or Law using restand Law stuff. If you are with this card early game in hand, it's a really good one to trash with Jack, because you're probably not going to be at 2 life so early. And also this trigger is extremely busted. You may trash 2 cards from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So it gives you a life if you trash 2 cards, which is always very nice. So here we covered our early game, here we covered our counters, which is really nice, and now we're going to talk about the big ones. So our first one, that is pretty much why you play this deck. A drop Crocodile, 8/9, great stat line. On play, Dawn -2 if your leader has the type includes Baroque words. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. Best part about this on play effect, and there's no restrictions on how many lives you have to have. So if you have 4, you can add 5. You have 5, you can add 6. So it's really nice not having that restriction. And to me, the best part of his effect is the on opponent's attack once per turn, Dawn -1, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. So if your hand is bricked, if you can't find like the big bodies, you only have counter in hand, because as you can see, we run a lot of counter. That card is really good to help you dig through your deck to find the cards you're looking for. Our next MVP of the deck, in my opinion, like the card that if I don't see it, the game gets much harder, is 9-drop Yamato. Beautiful alt art, by the way. It just works. It has a really good synergy with this deck, because if you're at 1 life, it's going to give you that 1 life. Depending on how many lives your opponent has too, you're going to add and you're going to KO. So really strong card. And you're going to have that 1 Dawn open if you're at 10. If you have 10 Dawn, you have that 1 Dawn open to protect yourself. Our third big guy is a drop Katakuri. He has mainly 2 functions. Like, he is a good body that you can play down, of course. But he's a removal for the 7-drop Luffy. He's a removal for the Orlumbus. He's a removal for the blocker Law, for the Rush Luffy, that you can't deal with that at that moment, or you prefer just not deal with that right now because you're still building your board, you're still doing your stuff. So this card gives you good tempo. And this card also combos very well with All Sunday, because you can put her back on live. You're gonna get a Dawn up because of leader effect when you take the life and then you draw. Just really nice. And gives yourself a life. You can also add essentially any of the cards except Yamato and our last one. And our last big guy, it's a little controversial. I debated about it with some of my local friends that play this deck too, that started playing recently. 9-drop Kaido. I like it a lot. It could be a one-off if you don't feel comfortable running to, because he is a good closure. You don't usually want to see him early game. Early game, he's usually a card that I trash with Jack, just because Dawn -5 is not as easy to recover in this deck. So it's usually something you want to do for your last turn or your before last turn, because then you can still hold 1 Dawn up for your events, and you swing with everything on your board plus that guy. Really cool. How do I feel about the deck itself? The deck has some overall 50-50 matchups into pretty much anything. It has a hard time with Whitebeard, just because Whitebeard goes so fast and you need time to develop your board. It is a deck that you have to have very good resource control. You have to know your events, you have to know who is the next big guy you're playing, your Dawn management. But it is extremely fun, and I super encourage everyone to try. We have some gameplay that me and my husband Dexter recorded, and we're gonna release it soon, so you guys will be able to see the list in action. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave a comment what you think about Purple Croc. Have you tried it? Go to Riley TCG to get all of your playmats, deck box, sleeves, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.